wait to see what's in store. But I've heard that one before, so I don't see all the time I've wasted coming back.
Welcome to the Ska History Hour with your hosts, Jose Rojas
Hello.
and myself, Daryl Rubio, wherein the purpose of this channel is to spread awareness of ska music and its subgenres to the world. Our guests today are Jessica, Andrew, Curly. He also has that's his last name, but he goes by Derek as well. But Curly is he's known as with Flying Raccoon Suit from Mississippi. Uh, People, we appreciate the time you're taking to speak with us to share your stories and your music to the ska community. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourselves and your role in the band, please?
I'm Jessica. I sing sometimes. I scream most other times. That's it.
I'm Andrew. I play guitar. I do some other vocals, and I record the trombone parts.
I'm Curly, and I hate when people call me Derek. So how dare you? But no, I'm just kidding. But seriously, don't. I play drums in the band. Every now and then dabble on guitar on some tracks, and I do production and keys for the band.
And Jessica plays melodica.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cool. So I like to ask the horn section usually have you ever been in a high school band?
Yeah, but I play my main instrument is tuba, which never comes in handy for any kind of gig or anything. So I'm self-taught on trombone. But
Okay.
but yeah, I did the tuba thing in marching band for sure. And then I did the jazz band, but I was a bass player, like upright and electric bass.
Oh, excellent. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Now, what's the story behind the name Flying Raccoon Suit? It reminds me of the power up for Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
Is there like a quirky origin story or inside joke associated with it?
Which power up is it?
It is the raccoon suit Tanuki suit?
Damn it! I said no Tanuki suits.
Yeah, so that's the downside. So there's the Tanuki suit, which is the full body suit power up, and then there's Raccoon Mario that has the ears and the tail, and you can like fly.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the leaf one. I don't know what it was called though.
It's not a good story. We were just very young, and our bass player Josh at the time, who he was in the band up through Afterglow, and he actually has one song on Moonflower before he moved away. I just happened to be wearing a Raccoon Mario shirt from Hot Topic, and we didn't have any names. And he was like, "How about Flying Raccoon Suit?" We're like, "That's fine." And now here we are.
And imagine like the butterfly effect if you'd like worn like any other shirt that day.
Yeah. Now, I do like the name, but it's so funny that we just said that, and now who would have thought?
It does help that we're all fucking dorks and all like Nintendo fans and stuff, so that leans into it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And Jose's a gamer, so for you to stump him, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I knew it was a leaf thing, but I know the Tanuki suit.
Hey, I mean, the leaf is the power up because the Tanuki suit's actually like when you get the full on like bear looking power up. Which Super Mario Bros. 3 has got some banger power ups. Like, don't
seriously,
get me wrong,
that was like the best.
Like Super Mario World is awesome because like the exploration, but like it pales in comparison for like the quirky power ups and like the level variation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for sure.
A lot of innuendos here. Andrew's wearing the power up shirt.
I know.
He talked about what was it earlier? The other remix album that you had?
Oh, Afterthought? Yeah.
Afterthought?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you guys started around 2015, is that correct? Around there?
Well, kind of. This version of the band started around then when we got Jessica and Nevin and stuff, but some of us...
That's when I joined, the end of that year.
Yeah, which is when we started doing stuff, but some of us played music together in high school. I guess at this point it's only me, Curly, and Guillermo. And the first thing we ever did was like a high school talent show. and then we played locally a bit, and then people started moving away and going to college and stuff. So we didn't really do anything for a while, but Joystick asked us if we wanted to open for them at a show, and we decided we wanted to get the people to be able to do that. So luckily, Jessica, we've gone way back with forever and we've been in local bands together, and we're like, wait, we know a good vocalist. We can get a lineup together.
That is awesome. And the
Yeah.
releases that I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I ended up joining the band. I was friends with Flying Raccoon Suit when we were in high school. Like Andy was saying, like our bands have all played together, and I was actually just producing their first album. And then Andy decided to go from drums. He was the original drummer to vocals and guitar, and they were like, "Yeah, let's get a fill-in drummer for some songs on the album," which is me. And then fill-in just turned into just permanent member. They duped me. They got me.
Yeah, and Jessica joined for a show we had with, I think it was Days and Days and Night Gaunts from New Zealand,
Mhm.
right?
Oh, I
Yeah,
remember
they
Night
had,
Gaunts. What
yeah,
is that?
they had
Tripping
their
in the basement, right?
That's
yeah.
it.
yeah.
That's a cool song.
Yeah, that was my first show ever with them. No pressure at all. Days and Days and Night Gaunts. They were on their when they went on that little tour and they did that split together back in 2015. That was fun.
Yeah. And that's when we got started again because we got Jessica on board, and I've been playing brass band music locally, and I knew Brandon and Evan through that, and who were just incredible jazz-minded horn players, and they were stoked to try something different and do this with us. And we had recorded some of Flying Raccoon Suit Makes a Friend before that, so that's why Jessica and Nevin only appear on some songs on that. But after we had Jessica and the horn players, we're like, okay, y'all are the heavy hitters. We gotta, and now we have good charisma and really write to our strengths and stuff. And so that point on, I think is kind of the real version.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And that's your first album, Makes a Friend, right? Flying Raccoon Suit Makes a Friend. Then Afterglow, is that correct?
Yeah.
Afterglow
Yes, all of that is
Simulator.
accurate.
We had one, yeah, we did in our like high school years going into college that was called Paper Airplanes. And
That's right.
it's
It's been removed from history. Don't worry about it.
No,
yeah.
I've seen it online somewhere.
Well, I eventually I took it down because like if you're in a band, like people like just weekly they'll put you on like their radio shows and podcasts and stuff like that. And after like Afterglow had come out, which we're all super proud of, and like yeah, and Jessica's like the front person now, and we have these incredible horn players. They would these places would be very kind and like try to promote us, but they would put a song on from that album where I'm the only person on one of these songs. And I'm like, well, it's not very representative of us.
And so Afterglow was Afterglow Simulator, which was like remixes, is that correct? Or
Yeah, 8-bit versions. Yeah, because why did I do that? Oh, that was part of the
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Why did I do that?
Oh, because for a while I was trying to figure out like we're from Mississippi, which has no scene as far as like punk, ska, alt music is concerned. And luckily through the internet, we're able to connect with other people. But I wanted to like do stuff for bands that I really liked and kind of be community minded. And in between shows and stuff, I would throw out 8-bit covers of other bands in the scene, which are still online on like our YouTube channel. So there's like 3 albums worth of 8-bit covers I did for other bands. And then when it came time where we had to like crowdfund for Afterglow, I knew it was something I could do. So I was like, hey, as one of the bonuses, I'll remix this album as 8-bit if we hit this much and recoup all the costs of pressing vinyl and stuff like that.
And then after that was Afterthought. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you had your most recent Moonflower.
hmm
Got it. Perfect. And you guys have been in several compilations though as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much from after Glow and until Moonflower, like we were still dropping bunch of random comp singles. We were on like the Rancid, we did Time Bomb, we did a Final Fantasy 7 comp track, we did Mario Kart, all kinds of stuff. There might be giants, all kinds of shit. It was cool.
There might be giants.
There might be giants.
There may be
There
giants.
They must be giants.
They must. That's a callback to a different podcast we're on where I couldn't say the right name. So now I just
Well,
come up with
that's
a different
also a
name every
quote.
time.
There's a phone call message on their first album of somebody just like getting their name horribly wrong that literally does that quote.
You might be a giant.
Also, Jessica, on our Spotify page where it says like also appears on, she's done guest vocals with a bunch of collabs that show up there.
Yeah, we just took the longest break from recording we've ever taken, because like I said, from recording Afterglow and until Moonflower released, we were just nonstop in the studio and just hashing out stuff. And once Moonflower released, we finally took a break, and then we took too long of a break, but now we're back at it.
Yeah, it was hard to get the wheels turning again. Yeah, it was like 2018 through 2023 maybe. We were recording something at all times because like fortunately Curly produces us, so whenever he has time, like somebody will just go over there and track. It's not like booking 1 week of studio time every 2 years and then everybody knocking it out. So it's kind of constant.
That's good. That's good for bumpers also for the radio.
Oh yeah.
Bumpers.
So whose idea was it to form
bumpers?
this
Bumpers
ska
are
band?
the little intros that you say, "Oh, welcome, say hello," Mikey,
gotcha.
Mikey Roots, same old show or whatever,
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Done a couple of those.
So whose idea was it to form the ska band?
I don't think it's anyone on this podcast right now. I'm not sure. It was like so it was started like I don't know who decided to be a band. It was just kind of a group of friends hanging out in high school, like playing video games. And they started saying like, "Oh yeah, and also we're a band." And it's like, well, none of us know how to play instruments or play music or own instruments or have social media, but yeah, we can say we're a band. And then eventually, I guess we piecemealed some instruments together. I was playing drums on a drum set I didn't own. Then the guitarist at the time had like a first act guitar he got for Christmas or something. And we started learning some ska covers and writing some stuff in our friend's garage. Because we were marching band folks, we wanted to work horns into it. And we were starting to learn about Mad Caddies and stuff like that from these Warped Tour compilations. And our bassist had this wide library of ska music he introduced us to. And yeah, I mean, the first thing we did, like I said earlier, was a high school talent show, which I feel like us signing up for that is what made us finally go like, all right, let's try to learn like 2 or 3 songs and see if we could do it. But they only let you sign up 5 people to be in the talent show, so we couldn't play any ska, so our horn players didn't participate.
And then you ended up playing Trogdor.
Yeah.
Yeah, does anybody know about that Trogdor life? Okay, hell yeah.
It was both awful and amazing to experience.
That's awesome.
It's definitely an experience for sure.
There is no chance it was good, but it was probably pretty fun. So, and that can describe the first few years, I'm sure.
It woke everyone up. I
bet.
What was that?
Oh yeah, because me and Jessica weren't in the band at the time, but we saw
we were definitely in the crowd. I think actually sitting together. Actually, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and there was no place for a shitty high school garage band with like 14 people to play. So at some point after that, our first actual like show with horns and stuff, we set up on the beach here on the coast on like some little plywood pallets with a generator running power to play a show with like 2 other bands, and that was our first like show with horns and stuff.
Those were so fun though.
Yeah,
it was
man,
cool.
that was a feat. Like a bunch of idiot high schoolers like built a stage, figured out the logistics to like set it up on the beach, and like we had like a 4-band bill or something like that. It was so dumb, but like kind of impressive.
Yeah, looking back, like we must have been so stoked to do that because I can't imagine now if I was like, guys, let's play a show, but hear me out, we got to build the stage. We have to like bring a bunch of gasoline out onto the beach and run hundreds of feet of extension cord. Like I don't know what we did.
I'm tired just like listening to you talk about that.
We must
Yeah,
have.
and not to mention all the sand in the equipment. God, it was.
God.
I still have that drum kit, and there's fucking sand to this day in that goddamn kit, dude. So much sand. Because I didn't even play in the band, but my other band that played the show as well, I backlined the kit, and I regret to this day.
Yeah, all three of us were in different local bands, but we all liked playing with each other and hanging out with each
Yeah.
other. So eventually, as those bands like fell apart, we just all kind of glommed
Oh,
together. We're like, these are the people I want to be in a band with.
It's awesome.
cool.
It's
It's my
me,
turn.
right? Well, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's your
Okay,
turn, I
I'll go.
believe.
So, so when you guys first got it, or you people, when you first got into ska, what were the bands that you first heard when you got into this genre? What was your introduction to ska?
You
Okay,
got this,
I'll go
Jessica.
first, and then one of y'all. My first thing was I was big into pop punk as a teenager, and I still like a lot of those bands, but like I was real into Sum 41 and stuff, and this makes me sound so old, but the internet isn't what it is now, and I couldn't really find performances of those bands. So I would buy physical DVDs of like Warp Tour DVDs where it would have like one performance by each band. Like that's definitely not a thing now. But I bought the one that had Sum 41 doing some songs on it, and the same DVD had the most important to me was Mad Caddies, but it also had Suicide Machines and I think one other. And as a horn player, seeing what the Mad Caddies horn players could do, it like blew my mind. I was like, you can do this with like rock instruments and stuff like that, and this is the best trumpet player I've ever heard in my life.
Mhm. I
And
remember when they were a band called the Ivy League before they changed their name.
oh, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
the Hippos and the Adjustments played with them before.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
I'm learning something today.
yeah, out in Santa Barbara, they were called the Ivy League. They were, because it was a college town, so that's what they were called before. We used to play with Nerf Herder, another band
I know Nerf
from
Herder,
there.
I've
yeah.
heard of
Yeah,
them.
so those are the local bands from like the Santa Barbara area. So when we used to go through there, go up north, those are the bands that normally everyone played with. But yeah, they were called Ivy League.
Amazing. What was yours, Jeff?
Well, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with like weird cartoons, and Kablam was up there. It was
Hell yeah.
weird.
Let's
And
go.
Two Tone Army was the song, and I was like, I want to hear more stuff like this. So I found MU330 and just Mad Caddies, other bands like that. Uh, More like the indie side of ska, I guess.
Yeah, and I honestly I didn't really listen to ska when I joined the band at all. The Flying Raccoon Suit was the first ska band I ever heard, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around what it is. But I didn't really get into the genre till way down the line, to be honest. Like I just kind of joined the band and kind of listened to some stuff that Andy showed me and just took some inspiration from just whatever he showed me. And I mean, I'm just like I'm not really a musical snob anymore. I used to be when I was real young, but like I just kind of like everything. And um I really got into ska probably right around like Afterglow and like really fallen in love with like the new tone bands and a lot of what like Bad Time Records was putting out. And it's funny because like we just toured with Mustard Plug, and they're like a legacy ska band. But the first album I listened to them was their newest one, which I love. So I'd go back and listen to their old shit, and of course it's great. But like, yeah, it took me a long time to really get into the genre. Not really out of like stubbornness, but just because I just didn't even really know what it was. And again, it was a little bit of a music snob when I was younger and didn't really care to find new music because I was stupid.
I think, and part of that, like, it's changed now because I think everybody in the band now has like ska bands that they're like a fan of and super into, but it influenced our writing style some ways for me and Jessica to have been into ska since we were like teenagers. But then like Curly comes in as, a metalhead by blood, and then we have these horn players that come in with like a jazz and soul background and stuff, and then they're using that to interpret ska. So like we'll say like ska's the backbone of what we do, but like everybody like bring your influences for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I mean, like I said, I listen to kind of everything now, and like hearing the stuff that Andy comes up with that background, I'm just like blown away, and it's like it's so creative, and like man, I'm really in a band with like the most talented people I know. It's really awesome. It's cool.
That's the same. I am the best tuba player around. I'm not the strongest guitarist or vocalist, but I'm surrounded by these wonderful musicians who are just way better than me.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
you're an amazing songwriter and like you're so creative, and I love you.
And
yeah, but
then
you
I'm
too.
also there.
No, your
Yeah, you're
vocals
insanely
make it.
talented. What
I'm
are
It
you
wouldn't be
talking
the
about?
same without you. Curly
It's
wrote like one song in the last album. He's like, yeah, I'll write one, and it's just everybody's favorite song now. And he likes to just be like, ah, whatever.
yeah.
way
Yeah.
too humble.
That kind of connects on to my next question. How did the band sound evolve into your unique blend of ska and genres like punk, jazz, and indie?
Yeah, it's really just leading into everybody's influences. I mean,
Yeah.
like we don't shy away from it, and like we try not to force it, if that makes sense. Like we'll sometimes be like, hey, why don't we have like this kind of song, like a surf rock song, and then we kind of just go from there. But we're not just like, oh, we have to blend this with that. What would that sound like? It's more or less like Andy's a core songwriter and he knows how to fit everything in that pocket of ska. But then it's like once I put my flavor on it, once Guillermo, Brandon, and Evan put their flavors on it, and by the
Mhm.
time it reaches Jessica, it becomes just like this whole new thing, and that's kind of our sound at this point. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
we don't.
I'll hear Andy's like bones of the song, and then like by the time I hear the end of it, it's nothing at all like it was started out, like how it started out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jessica and I go way back. Like, I mean, we've been in this band obviously for like she joined 2015, but we did like acoustic, like folky duo stuff together. And the way we write lyrics isn't super common because we collaborate and don't really talk about what the song's going to be about. And then our lyrics end up in the same ballpark and we
Oh.
mishmash like one line of mine, one line of hers, and yeah, like Curly was saying, everybody writes something on an album, even if I come up with like a chord progression and a format and stuff. Like the horn parts Brandon writes are insane. Nevin's solos are wild. Jessica can interpret some of the most out of tune, screechy little phone recordings that I send to our group chat, and she'll be like, "I don't know what you're trying to do here, but I'm gonna make something out of this."
Yeah, and
It's funny.
I mean, it's funny too because especially like not to future spoil anything, but like some of the new stuff that we're working on, I'll hear Andy's parts too, and like he has like a really cool thing that I've never heard because I don't really live in that genre space and never really have. But I love the parts so much, so I try to match it, but I can't. Like I physically my head doesn't get wrapped around it the same way. So then I have to find my own ways to interpret the parts and stuff like that. And I think like I don't really like pressure myself too hard to stay too core to the genre. I just kind of do my own interpretation or take on it. And I think that's kind of why we sound unique.
Mhm. Mhm. Cool, cool.
So I see that your band played Supernova last year. Can you tell us about your experience being involved in this amazing festival?
Oh my god, that was so incredible. But I will say that I had like no sleep going up to the festival because we drove inside the middle of a hurricane to
Oh,
get
Oh, that's
there.
right.
And like we
Yeah.
got there like right before I had to go up there. I had no sleep and I was like, "Hey everybody." I'm sure I said some stuff that I don't remember what I said, but yeah, anyway, that was an experience. Lots of fun though.
That was like a bucket list. I mean, I never thought we would share, you know, a stage, a festival with some of these bands. I mean, Selector,
But I was about to say it was
who would have thought that? It was
right.
it was
so
right by
insane.
Pauline Black. Oh my god.
Yeah. And like we saw bands reunite and like people were so like they seemed genuinely excited that we were there for the first time, like from middle of nowhere, Mississippi, where they probably would not have seen us otherwise. Like we're thankful they brought us out and we hung out all 3 days. Like, yeah.
It's such a
Yeah.
great platform for bands. The exposure that you get
Mhm.
from that, and plus the merch you sell, I'm sure. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was insane. It was like a trek to get there, but absolutely worth it. And like, man, it's kind of like Andy said, it's hard to believe, especially like we all kind of suffer from the imposter syndrome. Like we're just these dumb little Mississippi kids still in our own minds and stuff. And like, it's really cool to have people be excited for us to fucking travel halfway across the country and then people show up for us and it's like, man, this is crazy to me. Like I don't know, it's wild.
Yeah, they
Yeah, I went I went a couple years ago, but Jose goes like every year. So he saw you guys
Good.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year I was able to see you guys live. I was like, oh my gosh, this band is so awesome. I had to get a picture. I got a picture with Jessica and then the rest of the crew afterwards. It was awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's one of the
Yeah.
most like well-run festivals I've ever seen too. Like the owners are
Yeah.
so nice. Like they try to push bands to like know their worth. They have this wholesome community like meal with all the bands every night, which is not something I've ever had before. Like, and
Oh.
it's a husband and wife duo, I think. And
Yeah.
even looking at the lineup this year, I got to respect them because you can tell they just build the festival that they want to see. Like they're having Catch 22 do a very specific album. They're having the Flatliners do their ska album.
Yeah.
They got Ska Vuvi to reunite for the first time in 20 something years.
Mhm.
You can tell they're just like, I want this to happen. And they go do it.
And the international bands that they get is just simply amazing.
Oh my God, yeah. Lollipop Lori coming over from Russia this year. Like, I think
Yes.
Yeah.
the first time ever.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Hope it
interview them next
happens.
month. We have an
Oh,
interview with
cool.
them next month. Yeah. We're finally going international.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, your album Afterglow was a very well received album. What were some key inspirations or themes behind that album?
Me and Jessica wrote a lot about mental health, I know.
Yeah, it was a lot about depression and trying to get through it. There's a lot of stuff
Mhm.
happens. You know how stuff happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. We tried to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
thematic about it in some ways. Like the song Afterglow, we had this idea, like it's about that, but it's like, the first chorus is going to be in a minor key, and then when you get to the last chorus, it's in a major key to kind of fit with like where the lyrics are going.
Yeah, a
Um,
lot of that, like Andy was saying, like we all kind of write little bits and pieces for the album, and like I love like whenever a band kind of gets like up their own ass, like with like any kind of thematic elements or proggy shit like that, like the course to Afterglow changing keys like that to represent the way the lyrics go, as
Mhm.
well as like the way that the song starts so like frantic and like all over the place, and then it just gets into really like dark and dreary territory and then uplifts. Like I love shit like that. And like as far as like the like making of the album and stuff, like it really was like I it was us trying to like step up, like because I mean we had put out one album before, maybe two, who knows. And while like we were really proud of those in the time, like it really took me a long time to feel confident like as a producer and like a recording engineer. But it was like at this point in time where I was like, I feel like I've got like a grasp on the whole thing and like what I want everything to sound like. So I stepped up production wise as well, and like again, like just it's easy to like stay inspired whenever your bandmates are inspiring. So that's really
yeah,
what it was.
listening to Curly's production from Flying Raccoon Suit Makes a Friend to Afterglow, I guess it's a 5 year gap, but man, he honed in and like perfected it. And then even by Moonflower got it more of a science. But and there's some other little themes in there. I know like I'm kind of a naturalist, environmentalist by day, so like Canary in the Coal Mines, a little bit of that, and Hive Mind was like the political one without trying to hit the nail too hard on the head because I was like, oh, if I say these things, it won't be relevant in 2 or 3 years, but it still is, and
Somehow it is. It's
yeah,
weird.
Yeah,
and
Afterglow was definitely my first time like really, really experimenting with vocals and harmonies. Yeah, because before when I joined in 2015, like I recorded half of Flying Raccoon Suit Makes a Friend. It was kind of already written. So
Yeah, it was the first album with the full lineup too, so it was energizing and cool figuring out the sound, honestly. And then Moonflower was just a continuation of that, and like how can we like hone in on that? And
yeah, having the full lineup finally settled, like Curly said, has been like it because like even though we've been a band for a minute, when I look back at it, like what we're doing now versus then, like we didn't do anything. Like we never toured until 2021. Like never we played Mississippi for so long to like and there's not much of a base you can build out here, but we spent years just kind of playing here and not going anywhere. But yeah, having a set lineup of people and we all love each other and are good friends and have good charisma writing together, the first time, so I think it's only getting better from there.
You sure did get better.
Well, that's a good segue into my next question. So I see that your band has been to California, where we live, once in May last year. Can you tell us what areas that you played and with whom you played with?
We played Bottom of the Hill and Constellation Room with so the whole reason we did that run, that 2 week run, is because Half Past Two invited us out to open their album release shows. And we know the West Coast would be good if we could ever get out there, but it's such a risk and such a long drive that we never had like an anchor that we can say like, all right, we can build a trip around this and we can play, little dive bars out in the desert until we get here. But it'll be okay because we end up in California. But yeah, we're very thankful that they gave us that offer because
And you got to see the ocean, hopefully?
yes, once.
We did, yeah. We did, and we got to see some like really tame squirrels. It was crazy. Like these squirrels out there built different. Like there's squirrels just chilling by a garbage can. You could just like pick them up and they're just like, whatever, bro. I'm a fucking
they
squirrel.
burrow in the ground out there. They're not in the trees.
It's cool. Yeah, they just didn't give a fuck. It was cool.
Oh, we saw that house from the sitcom. What was that?
Oh, Full House.
Oh,
The Full House house.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, in San Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to experience as much as we could while we were out there. Like the drives are so long because it would be like, 6 to 8 hours between major cities sometimes. Whereas if we tour in the Northeast, you can hit Trenton, New Jersey to Philly like 2 days back to back with a 45-minute drive.
Uh-huh.
And just time to do
No,
stuff.
here you've got, if you factor in traffic, you've got another hour and two plus. It's totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was hard.
But you guys played in San Francisco, Bottom of the Hill, and then you played you said over at was it Chain Reaction, or where did you guys play?
Constellation Room. I forget what city.
Oh, that's in Santa Ana. That's
Santa Ana.
Yeah, that's right. I know where that place is. I think I saw Face to Face there once. I don't remember.
Oh, cool. Yeah, the California was very, like, the scene is so cool and people were so stoked on those shows, and yeah, I got nothing but nice things to say about it. If it weren't so far away, we would have been back already.
Now, sorry, Jose.
Can you talk about the songwriting process on the track Eat the World and the great horn part?
Yeah, this one's kind of funny because we always track drums first and then like add other layers as we go, and this is the one we kept forgetting that we had. Like I'm trying to think of why I did the horn part like that. Like, I know we wanted to build it around a hook, so it's another one that leans surfy, which Driftwood was also kind of surfy. So after we did this and Eat the World, I think Curly said no more surf for a little bit.
Oh, boo.
I mean, if it happens, it happens. But like, both of those songs have an intro that are just straight up surf rock. I'm like, oh man. And then they were both like giant hits from the comparatively big hits for us. And then when Andy showed me Eat the World, it was like probably my least favorite on the album. And typically that'll happen where it's my least favorite, and then as we layer and build, and then by the end of it, I was just like, fuck, I was so wrong. I was so off base. So good.
And I remember I wanted a song that had like, there was a horn hook in the chorus and a chorus hook for the vocals. Because we thought hard about like crowd participation for this album. So like from this to Afterglow, there's a lot more like gang vocals and stuff like that encourages crowd interaction. So like most of the song is gang vocals except for like one line that Jessica hits that harmony by herself.
And Jessica, you look pretty intense in that video too. Well, in the close
yes, that
she killed that. Yes. She killed that shit.
Well, I was mad.
That's the thing with bands. A lot of bands like certain songs, but then there's outsiders like us who are not in the band who see or perceive the songs to be a little different. So like we like different things. And so that's how I see it is with when you see the crowd or the fans view of it, then the band who's creating the music, because you guys have such a a strong feeling about how your music is conveyed. But then the fans can see it from a different perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely I love the song, and it's one of my favorites to play. And there's none of our songs I don't think I'll ever be tired of playing. And like the horn part, I'm big into like stuff that sounds like kind of circusy, like for any music people, like a lot of half steps and stuff. So that's why the first two bars of the horn part are built around half steps. And we made sure like the bridge is, our jazz players kind of showing out. And also we throw like a lot of textures in the backgrounds of our songs. So I have a really terrible theremin that Curly
Yeah,
has
the theremin.
graciously let me use, even though it's so cheap it doesn't turn off, or there's no volume. So if it's on, it's like playing a note. So we had to find some creative ways to work around that. And at the end of the
Yeah.
song, if you listen close, you'll hear a little click because we had to turn it off. There's no like decreasing the volume. But
I love keeping dumb shit like that in. Like if you hear on the ending of Everyone Else, you'll hear Andy, or no, Red Herring, sorry. You'll hear Andy punching in his door code to like unlock the door faintly in the background. It keeps us like rooted in like this is still very DIY. And we got really lucky with Eat the World too, with Duck happened to be over for something. I don't remember exactly what, but he was hanging out and he did a guest vocal on that track. And man, I think it makes the chorus like really lift. Like, man, he's got such a cool like scream tone to his voice, and man, I love the way that his and Jessica's, well, all our voices mix with him.
I think he had to drive Clay because his car broke down.
Yeah, that was really lucky though, because and he didn't even want to do it. Like he started tracking and he was kind of reserved, and Clay or somebody was just like, "Bro, fucking sing the song." And he's like, "All right." And then he fucking nailed it in one take, and it was just like, dude, this sounds dope as hell. It was awesome.
It was so cute. He was like, "No, I don't wanna." Come on, we're like, "No, come on." He's like, "No." And we made it. So.
we've been connected to Joystick in various ways for years. And also, yeah, Duck guested on Eat the World. In their release that happened, right at the same time as Moonflower, Jessica does a guest vocal where you can hear her shouting on the song House Guest.
Yep.
Cool.
So now, some of you, or most of you, I guess, like ska. What are your favorite current ska bands playing today?
I'll go first since I'm the non-ska aficionado. Really into Simple Minded Symphony, Runaway Ricochet, and The Best of the Worst. They're like three bands that like watching all of them live is like incredibly humbling, where I'm just like, I need to fucking practice. I want to go home and like write. It's so inspiring. They're all just amazing sweethearts, and yeah, can't get enough of either of those bands.
Yeah, Runaway, I double Runaway Ricochet. We just did some dates with them in January, and they're like, you know, 10 years younger than us, and seeing them play, it's like, I have to go practice. This is insane. And same for Joker's Republic, I feel is the same way. And they're like a three-piece. They all sing. Stuck Lucky, love them a lot. And like another Southern ska band where it's like all the states in the South are only allowed one ska band per state. So they're the Tennessee band.
Space Monkey Mafia. So good.
Yeah, they're really good.
Is it my question now? Yeah. Can you talk about the canary in the coal mine? I learned it's a cover from the Police. Why did you decide to cover that song?
Whoa.
Oh, I think they might have the same title, but this is a different song.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
me. I misinformed Jose because I know that's a Police song. I just wasn't sure if it was a cover.
Okay.
So,
Oh, yeah, no, and funny enough, there's another band in the scene, courtesy of Tim, that has a song called Canary in the Coal Mine. And then Runaway Ricochet. Funny. Canary.
How crazy would it be if we went back and listened to that Police song and it actually is
It is way different.
I started second guessing. I was like, what the fuck we did?
No, your song is like, it has all these ups and downs in it, jazzy, and I love it. Yeah.
You just described the Police, man.
No, actually, Sting covered our song.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
From the
retroactively.
Future, yeah.
Yeah, that's the word. Thank you.
Like a Bill and Ted's thing.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Runaway Ricochet also has a song called Swan Song.
Mm-hmm.
We're joking about us both playing Swan Song on tour.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all know that Stuart Copeland did the Spyro music, the soundtrack
Yeah,
for the first game?
actually, I did know that.
It's really fucking cool. Like, I love Stuart Copeland.
I didn't.
You didn't love him?
So how was that songwriting process for that song, Canary, Nicole?
Yeah, I think that one was a lot of my stuff. So for better or worse, I mean, I've been writing songs since I was a teenager, and I have a folder on my computer of like 300 songs that are never going to see the light of day. And that was one where I just reached back and was like, why don't we, can this go on the album? And I think the track was just called like Blues Idea or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's in 12/8, like just it's a let me think, it's an F minor blues scale going through that song. Um, and that's another one. Me, Jessica, and Curly do this thing a lot where we do gang vocals and we all do it differently. So Jessica has this like high, soaring kind of shouting voice in that. I sound like whatever. And then Curly's got this like fry vocal, like metal scream underneath it, and all three of us just layered in that. It's super thick. I love it.
We struggled with that one for a bit. Like we normally with our game vocals we just go in and get out, but we did like 3 different iterations of that one, and I love that song. Like I think it's like probably one of my favorite deep cuts of ours. A lot of improv on the drums on my part because like I just kind of winged it and just kind of did whatever, and I love the way that that one got pieced together. It's got a little cool doo-wop piano part too. It's
Yeah.
great.
Oh yeah. Oh,
It's
and
a good
Jessica
song.
the backing vocals.
Oh my god, they're so beautiful. Jeez.
Yeah, the harmonies layered.
I
Yeah.
love this. We're awesome.
Love you.
Wow.
So I know,
humble.
Andrew, you touched on this a little, but since we know that ska does not pay the bills, what are each of your occupations? Andrew, I guess we could start with you because you touched on that a little.
Yeah, I'm a biologist, and our we used to say our band was like half scientists because our tenor sax player is a geologist and our original bassist was a geologist.
Oh.
I work IT right now. It's fine. It's cool.
I'm a bartender at a golf club.
Oh,
Yep.
Oh, the fun. So we were on another podcast, me and Jessica together, and they asked something similar, and it was a podcast with some Canadian folks, and Jessica was like, "Yeah, I work at a country club," and they're like, "Oh, do they make you like wear the cowboy hats and like the boots and stuff like that?"
That's funny.
No, they don't. I do that because I want to.
Right. It's a choice.
Now, were there any sorry.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Were there any memorable challenging moments when recording your albums? And you did mention a little, but is there?
Yeah, I mean it can boil down honestly the hardest part is scheduling and just getting the correct people in the correct rooms at the correct times. Because like we're very fortunate in the setup that we have where we can kind of just do things on our own time, but that's like both a blessing and a curse because we can do things on our own time. So it's really like on us to hold ourselves and each other accountable, and Eddie's really good at that. As far as like musical challenges, like I mean, I don't there's not a whole lot of them. Canary in the Coal Mine was one of the vocal ones where we kind of struggled for a bit. We've run into weird issues with like Hive Mind. At one point, the sample rate got screwed up and like it was pitched up, and we tracked other tracks to the wrong tuning, so I had to like work backwards from that. But like otherwise, like I mean, it's pretty smooth, especially like the horn players just come in like and knock out multiple songs a day, and like it's crazy. Like they're just so incredibly talented, and Jessica just knocks shit out in like single takes left and right, and she's an incredible like double tracker, which is amazing for a
Yeah.
producer to find because like you don't run into that often where just like a good double is like awesome to have, but like you have to have a really good singer to do it. So I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's just fun to me. I love recording. I mean, obviously that's why I want to stay in the producer role. Like I love doing it and love to get to wear that hat and kind of while Andy's like a core songwriter, I like to kind of guide as far as production and sound wise that the band takes. It's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely the scheduling, like he said, and then also everything is either recorded at his house or at my house, and his neighbors don't like drums.
Yep.
So
Who
he
Yeah,
does?
gets
that's the hardest part for me. Like I don't even have an opportunity to have a practice space. I had practice on an E kit, and man, this past recording session was rough because I hadn't recorded drums in years. It feels like at this point. So it was like I practiced up on my E kit, thinking like, man, this shit's easy, dog. Oh, I got this, and I got in there. I'm like sweating buckets, and I'm like, man, these drums just don't feel like drums. But I mean, I clutched it out with a couple tracks, but like, man, it was eye opening. It was like, man, I need a practice space. It sucks.
yeah, and it's Jessica has such a good ear for like harmonies and doubles and stuff, and like I'm not like a traditionally like good vocalist and stuff, which I'm okay with because I love a lot of bands like Modest Mouse and Neutral Milk Hotel or Clap Your Hands that aren't. But it's like getting a vocal double out of me is not going to happen. It's like I feel like I did my first ever double on Moonflower probably, and it's going to sound different live when I do it because I can't do whatever I did. But and I'm okay with it, so hopefully the crowd is. But it's like, yeah, her just doing something the exact way she did it right after is just man.
Yeah, her and Brandon both are just ridiculous. Like as far as like tuning goes, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, there have been times Curly would drive like an hour to my house and forget like a dongle for the laptop, and then
Fucking eye lock with Pro Tools, man. I swear to God.
and then just sadly drive an hour back to his house for
Yeah.
no
Oh
reason.
no.
Yep. Technology is crazy now though, because like I mean, obviously iLock is you can use cloud stuff, but like my entire studio is like in one rolling rack, and like while it breaks my back to move, it's like I've got like actual like um outboard compressors and like preamps and shit, and it's cool because like I started with nothing, and like from doing this stuff with the band, like I've grown like a pretty decent like DIY studio, and it literally is mobile
Yeah.
because it has to be
Incredible.
to do
Also,
drums and
also
shit.
because we just record in our homes, it's like
Mhm.
you don't know what's gonna happen. So Curly, we recorded some stuff last week and he showed up and it was just raining hard as fuck for like hours.
Oh,
He set up all his mics and was like, I don't know what I can do. All you hear is
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was like, it's just
oh.
gonna have a vibe, I guess.
Can I have a sad Dido sample in the back?
Yeah.
Oh, Dido. So I see you guys recently, and Andy touched upon it. You guys recently toured with Mustard Plug and the Pie Tasters. Tell us about your experience doing that. How long was it, and how much fun was that?
Not
Uh,
long enough.
yeah. Oh, I felt like, yeah, we were definitely on a good momentum there. Like at the end, I was like, no, we need like 3 or 4 more of these. Why is it over? But yeah, they were super nice, super welcoming. I think it was like what we did 5 days.
Yeah, we were the Southeast support forum, so we backlined both the bands, and it's such a crazy full circle moment. And also, they're very sweet and welcoming. They're such both kind bands. But I looked back, and I have files on my computer from when I was in high school, just learning how to write, and I was like tabbing out all these covers where I had tabbed out like Yesterday by Mustard Plug and stuff like that, and these different songs. And now I'm just like, now they're hanging out with us and
They're
like
friends. That's crazy.
collabing with us. Jessica sang with Mustard Plug.
Mhm.
Yeah. They do a cover of Waiting Room by Fugazi, and I always get up there with them.
Oh, cool.
We've also seen Jessica with the head on, the plug.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes, but Andrew got to be the mustard guy.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
I felt so bad. Like, well, first of all, so they had an old mustard head and they just got a new one made from it was a friend that makes movie props and it looks great. And they were like, "Hey, you want to be the mustard man?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." But you can't see out of it.
Oh,
So I put it on. It has like there's a black mesh you can see out of, but all the teeth are in front of it. So I can, if I like pull the teeth apart, like in the mouth, I can kind of like see out of it. But otherwise, I'm going in blind. So the first night I did it, I think I punched their trumpet player. Like, because like the head wouldn't fit through the door. So I like eventually got through and stumbled out. And I'm trying to like move around. I just fucking punched their trumpet player, like trip over their singer. Like I looked back at it and it's just like a hazard on stage. They're just kind of
Yeah.
giving me like a little circle. They're like, I'm gonna stay away from this. And then our trumpet player did it better a couple nights
How
later.
did that all come about? You being able to play with the bands?
Ooh, I don't, well, we've known them for a while just because we're us and Mustard Plug are on Bad Time Records together, and our paths have crossed a few other times. I filled in on trombone with Omnigon for an Indefensive Ska tour
Hmm.
when that book came out a while back, and I got familiar with a lot of the Mustard Plug guys then, and because of that, later they had me fill in for their trombone player at Supernova because they were added as a last minute replacement for one of the international bands that had visa issues. So I had 2 weeks notice and I would come home from work every single day and they sent me their album release set list, which is longer than the normal set list. So I'd come home from work and play like 22 Mustard Plug songs every day until Supernova. But yeah, just got in. I mean, they're great people and they seem to like our music. Like Colin and them were stoked on it, and they were looking for a band in the Southeast because it's some Southeast dates, and we're a band in the Southeast. And it worked out.
So was it sheet
Nice.
music they sent you, or you had to learn it by ear?
By ear. Yeah, it was it luckily because I had known some of their songs from way back, there was a few I could check off, but it was a lot of homework and like yeah, my end of year wrapped Spotify that year, I was like their top 0.1%. Like
This guy really loves Mustard Plug.
I mean,
yeah.
so was I, not because of that.
Yeah, that was before I started practicing.
Right. Dude,
Now,
it
what's your
was
go
I was just gonna say it was awesome getting to play with that shorter run with them. It was crazy because our last show before that run was with Runaway Ricochet. We were fortunate enough to kind of do some dates with them, but the last show was like at this really bad like dive bar with no stage, no sound, and like speakers broken, all kinds of shit. So it was just insane going literally from that show to like one of the most like nicest like full on green room fancy schmancy treatment for a band. Like it was crazy because like of course like we stay humble, but it was kind of wild to go from like the most DIY show to like the fanciest that we've played yet. It was
Oh, and
cool.
I'll add like we don't have a booking agent, and I hate booking. So my favorite thing is if somebody sends us an offer. It's like we have 5 dates ready to go. You want to play these dates? Like yes, please. Oh my
Nice.
God.
Yeah.
Booking, yeah, otherwise, if you book a tour, it's like 10 months of reaching out to like 40 venues and promoters because a bunch are going to say no. And then you need like three other bands per show. So if you're doing 12 shows, you need to reach out to 40 bands and they're not all going to say yes. So you reach out to like 60 bands. But yeah, somebody's like, you want to play this run with us? I'm like, yes, please. Oh my God.
The hardest
So,
part taken out of our hands? Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
so like those DIY places, you guys had to share the same backline, or what?
We
Yeah.
if we know the bands, we try. If it's like a local that somebody else added, sometimes they'll be peculiar or want to use their own stuff, but
Hmm.
we try to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love backlining as a drummer. Like whether it's my kid or theirs, like it just makes the show go so much smoother. I mean,
exactly. And more time to play your songs.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what's your favorite song you created so far, and why does it hold a special meaning for the band?
Andy?
I'll
Wow.
start. I think Toss and Turn is still my favorite, even though like Moonflower came out. I'm kind of partial to some of the ones we're recording now, but it's also I might be biased because it's like the new thing fresh in my mind. But Toss and Turn, I based some of the format on a Modest Mouse song I really love. It's one of my favorite like vocal performances Jessica has done, like especially the intro. It sits in the space of being like really kind of melancholy, and then building to kind of upbeat, but still using these kind of wistful chords. Um, the video Curly made for it is like a little Pixar movie, and he made it like mostly in his kitchen. We didn't know what he was making until he showed it to us. He was just like, "I have an idea," and yeah, everything about it. Brandon writing this harmony in the horn part I wouldn't have thought of, where it's on a fourth instead of a third to give it
I
that
love that
same
harmony,
feeling of
dude.
melancholy.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
I, I mean, toss and turns up there for me too. If I had to pick another one, like, I mean, Long in the Tooth is like the obvious answer for me because it's the one that I like took lead on writing and stuff, and it got me back on guitar for a little bit because I love playing guitar but never have really excuses or reasons to, and just getting to just uh to flex like the metal side of my writing was fun for me, especially with this band because like man, that song went through so many different iterations where I was like, this isn't gonna cut it. And then when I finally showed the band, they're just like, no, let's do it. I was like, are y'all sure? Cool. All right, let's roll. All right, let's go. And like it was so close to like I almost loved it, but wasn't quite there until I had Andy do the horn parts for it and Jessica put on her lyrics. Like it all just like gelled together. I was like, yeah, this is why I love this band.
Yeah, for me, man, I hate that y'all said toss and turn because it's always going to be my answer.
Yeah,
But also, I have to say Witch's Streak
dude,
because
that's a good one. Yeah,
yeah, it's like all over the place, but like it means a lot. It's one of the ones that I came up with a little bit, not really, kind of.
Well, the lyrics for sure, because Jessica gave us the idea based on something that somebody told her about with the phrase "witch's streak," and it's very from a woman's point of view. So we're like, that's all you.
yeah, I love it.
Crushed it.
I fucking love the second verse so much that Jessica sings. There's two parts on that album that like give me chills. It's the second verse of that on Witch Streak and the second verse of Dyad. There's something about your performance on those parts. It still gives me chills when I listen to it, and I've heard those songs hundreds of times. Like I just adore them.
Yeah, Witch's Streak, and
Nice.
she does the melodica intro, and it's this
Hmm.
odd like horn part that Brandon wrote. So much about that song, even the production. So there's this melody that happens that starts with like the melodica, and it passes to the alto sax, and then like the guitar hints at it, and Curly puts some sort of filter each time that happens
Yeah,
to give it continuity.
I did like a like slapback delay with like a chorus effect, and I made sure each of the instruments playing those parts like called back to the same kind of effect. I like putting nerdy shit like that in the songs too. Like every single verse has something slightly different. Every single chorus, even if it's like the same parts, I'll switch the panning of the guitars or some kind of instrumentation. I feel like it's something nobody will ever notice, but like there's something to it where it's like it keeps listening to it interesting, at least for me, because I'm listening for it. So like I think somewhere deep inside someone would hear it and think this sounds interesting. Don't know why, but it's there.
And that's everybody kind of brought it on that one, and it's very much an album track. It's not the big hooky like sing along chorus that will be the popular one, but like thinking back, like Clay, even he knew like, okay, these verses are more of a reggae feel. He played with like side of the thumb, more in that
Yeah.
sort of style. Brandon wrote the main horn part and harmonies, and he did a harmony I would never think of because it's a whole step apart. But whenever I map out like, okay, the chord is this, it makes sense. But I would have never thought to do that. And then the bridge, I was my take on Smash the Magnavox by Blue Meanies.
Oh
Just
yeah.
having this insane
It's
asymmetrical
just crazy.
horn part just going off. And so that's the part I wrote, but I showed it to him, and Guillermo was like, "Man, what the fuck? I have to do this."
Oh yeah, Blue Meanies is one of my favorites. I saw them. I went to the Chicago to the reunion a couple years back.
How was that?
Oh, fucking amazing! Weaker Youth Ensemble opened the show.
Yeah, Sean Dolan's band, right?
I don't know. Is he the singer? I don't.
He's the guitarist that joined Blue Meanies for like the Smash the Magnavox album, but I think it was something like they weren't going to play that album. They were using the original guitarist. So then they had
Yeah, because in that reunion they only played "Kiss Your Ass Goodbye" and "Pave the World." I believe it was.
Yeah,
Um,
like I guess that was maybe the original lineup. I don't know their history.
yeah, yeah, because they had Jay on bass, um, from
Oh, right.
Captured
The
by
robot.
Robots. Yeah. So yeah, that was a killer show. So I went out there and I saw Chuck had a 30th anniversary show, and State of Emergency opened, and and the Coolidge,
Oh, heck
Coolidge,
yeah.
Coolidge played the Johnny Sacco songs.
Hmm.
Um, and there was and the Eclectics played too.
That's an amazing lineup. Like, do you know RJ Phoenix? Like, he did On the Upbeat and stuff. He's just a big
No, I mean the only guy that I've ever met from there is Matt, I think.
oh, okay. I was just gonna
But
say he's another like nerd about Midwest ska, which also I've realized I tend to nerd out about a bunch of Midwest ska bands like MU30 and Orange Tree and stuff. So like heck yeah, it's in that realm.
yeah, definitely all that 90s stuff that Chuck put out back in the early 90s. Because I got into ska in 1990, when I was in high school. And so all the stuff from back then, I nerd out. Like we interviewed Dan from Bim Skull Bim, and I totally nerded out on him because he's like my man crush, my ska man crush, I was saying.
Heck yeah.
So there's certain bands that I'll get a nerd out about, which is
Love
pretty
it.
awesome. But that's just me because those are the bands that I really loved when I first got into ska.
And you
And
have
like you guys with Mad Caddies.
yeah, and you have this platform that lets you just be like, hey, come hang out for an hour, which is awesome.
It's pretty cool. I actually we started this when because our friends Eric and Junior from History of LA Ska, which I work with in a movie that's coming out hopefully next year. But they're writers on it with me, and then they interviewed me on their show, and then I think a year later we started it. I don't remember. They're like an episode 100. We're only on episode like 21 or something like that. 22, I
Okay.
don't remember. So
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, I love it. It's great. I love just talking to bands and stuff like that. Plus, it really helps, the bands, any bands that I help out, or manage, get shows or whatever in that area too. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this genre is community based more than any other genre I've played with, and that's such a
yeah,
huge bonus.
exactly. Now,
Yeah.
since you guys have toured, do you guys have any crazy tour stories to speak of? Anything that's okay for the channel to share?
Yeah.
We're so boring.
I was gonna say one of y'all can go first about
Like,
the
bands
haunted house
breaking
or
down, fights, anything like that?
I mean, we could talk about the sauce bomb story, but I don't think it's worth
uh,
bringing up without
There,
Brandon.
there
it
was
Uh,
the haunted house,
the haunted house is
in
fun.
the
Connecticut.
haunted
Yeah.
house in
We're
Connecticut.
not big party people. Like we kind of just like, all right, show's over. Let's go to the hotel room. Let's
But
go go to
our
sleep.
stories are like our stories are so dumb. It's like, oh, we went to Arby's and our sandwich had too much sauce and it got all over my pants. Like, there was
Yeah.
a bathroom that was like it was like the size of a house, and there was like the toilet that was way in the corner. I mean, it was like this bathroom at a gas station nowhere. It was like a mile long and had like interrogation right at the top of it. And there's like the tiniest little toilet in the corner and just nothing else in the room.
There's so
It was
much
like
real
the
estate
Saw
wasted there.
movies.
You could put like 7 toilets in there.
And then all hold
Just
hands.
got the one.
Yeah, we had the I mean we talk about this one sometimes. There was like a promoter graciously let us stay at this empty house up in Connecticut, which in the dark we thought looked like this big old Victorian thing, like there's old stuff throughout it. And two of our members, it's such a long story. We started messing with each other. It was late and we were all loopy and it was after a show. And
Big
you know,
spooky vibes.
they would be outside like just like tapping on random windows and
Well,
that we
two of them disappeared, and they decided to like prank us the whole night by like disappearing and like banging on windows, banging on like the second story like doors, and making us think of this house. It was like stuck in the '80s. Was like super haunted. It was really really creepy. It actually
yeah
was.
Then
and
the
it, and
neighbor.
yeah, and they were sneaking around outside, but like we don't know where this place is. We've never been to Connecticut, and he didn't realize he was trying to go around the house, but ended up in like a neighbor's yard, and the neighbor thought he was trying to rob them. So they came out. I forget if he had a gun or what, but he's just like, "You're not coming in here, motherfucker!" And he's like, "No, I'm not. Who are you?" And they, yeah, they were about to. They called the owners of the house, who were the people like letting us stay there, and had to explain. It was the whole thing.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. Wow.
To this day, I don't believe it. I think they're still fucking with us. I don't think the neighbor was there at all.
We played Pooza Fest in Canada, which was extremely strange. Like we routed this whole tour to go up to Canada and play Pooza Fest, and it ended like we played at 1 a.m. and it's like, and no shade to them, they were like students running the sound, so our mics would just randomly be off, or they would start like blasting us, or they would like come on stage and like mess with the sound, and like our sax player got kicked out of the venue for bringing in his own water. It was just like such a weird night.
Wow.
And we unloaded into this busy street in Montreal at 3 a.m. when it was too late to get a hotel room, so we slept in a French Walmart parking lot for like
Oh,
4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
whenever-
crazy.
So not as crazy as some bands, but that's yeah.
That's still good stories, man.
Yeah.
we're like nerds that go to sleep early and wake up and go to work.
Yeah, we try to on tour we try to hit some thrift stores, some game stores, and then some nature, like a
Nature,
national park
yeah.
or something like that.
Oh, cool.
And
And at least one haunted house.
one haunted house. It sounds boring and dorky, but
Now the album named Moonflower. Now I read in this article that it was derived from you have a song from Sunflower, right? But Jessica like something about Pokemon, was making fun about like the night that she loves. I don't know. What's the story behind it?
It wasn't on purpose, but we made it into a joke. It's just like we have a song called Sunflower on an album called Moonflower, and it was like, oh yeah, people are gonna think we're making it because of Pokemon Sun and Moon. But if they think that, that's fine, because I love Pokemon and I'm not ashamed.
yeah. So it wasn't for that, but we lean into it. We had a bunch of different album titles we were working with, and like Afterglow we had done as like a title track, so it's named after our track, and we didn't want to do this one as a title track, but we got close, I guess.
Yeah, title tracks are weird to me because like I feel like it puts a lot of pressure on the song. And like I think Sunflower is a great song, but like I was like, it doesn't fit right. But then once we started thinking thematically of like our music's always a little bit of like brightness mixed with the darkness, and like it's like the sun and the moon, and it's like the moonflower in general is a pretty sick flower. It's dope.
And I'm a big nerd. So the moonflower is a real thing that happens, that occurs in the South. I won't get too far into it, but it's a really cool, like symbolic thing, I think, because it's this plant that against all odds, like blooms at night, and it puts all its energy of the day into doing this. And it only blooms at night. So every day when the sun comes out, it drops its petal. And then every night it puts all the energy it's got into making a new flower, which is kind of a cool thematic thing. And also, like Curly said earlier, we got a little concepty. So the intro song, the whole point of the album, we were saying, is like it's about looking forward with hope and with dread kind of at the same time. So the intro song has lyrics from Long Shot and Sunflower, which for us were the two sides of that coin. Long Shot being more about looking forward with dread, and Sunflower looking forward with hope. And like sort of like how me and Jessica write, unintentionally it all ended up kind of in this ballpark together.
Cool.
Now, you guys have an upcoming show, the Nigwid Ska Fest, in July. Is this just like a one-off show, or are you guys doing like a mini tour, or do you guys have any touring plans?
It's gonna be a little weekend, so I think they've said it on a podcast, but we're gonna hit Nashville with Stuck Lucky on the way up, who's also doing it. And yeah, like we said earlier, Orange Tree's on that, like some of the MU30 guys in that band. Yeah, we're looking to do some touring later this year, but we can't announce like where or with who or anything yet. But yeah, so right now it's just that weekend we've got Nashville and St. Louis, but watch our socials and stuff like that, because I don't know when I have to announce what.
Okay.
Cool. Now this question is for Jessica. As a vocalist, how did you find your unique singing style, and who has been your greatest vocal influences?
Ooh, Okay. Well, I've been singing. I've been like just I don't know, singing my whole life, just since I was a kid. I think my dad's got some old videos of me singing old '90s country songs. Um, but yeah, I just practice with a lot of different songs. I always just wanted to make my own sound, and I don't know. My influences. Oh man, there's all over the place. Oh man, that's a really good question. Put
We
me on
can
the
come
spot.
back around to it if you want.
We can come. Yeah, we can go back to it if you want.
No, I grew up admiring like Alanis Morissette and Hope Sandoval and
Oh, Hope Sandoval. Mazzy
yeah,
Star.
I loved Mazzy Star. I have a cat named Mazzy, actually.
Oh, really?
I do. So yeah, just the women of the '90s. Like the shoegaze
Natalie
sound,
Merchant.
the big '90s sound. So I wanted to do both. So I kind of made my sound both.
Cool. Cool.
Now,
Cool.
what are each of your pet peeves and or addictions?
In general, or touring, or bands?
Just you as a person.
Pet peeves.
Ooh, I have a lot of those. Like way too many of them.
I don't like, I guess, keeping it music centric. Like, there will be people in a scene like this that treat it as a competition,
Mm.
or that like spend a lot of time just kind of like talking trash on people for no reason when it's supposed to be like all good vibes. Something and touring wise, people, I mean, you can't control this, but I've been in bands where everyone snores and I don't. So Joystick they have some prolific snorers in Joystick. I'll rattle some walls.
God, I've seen it firsthand. Whew.
What was the other one?
Any addictions, and we don't mean anything like bad. It's like something like, oh, I gotta have my Sour Patch Kids or something, you know?
Oh, I eat, it sounds so gross. I eat Taco Bell like at least once a week, but probably a couple times a week. I had Taco Bell earlier today, actually, on the way
Oh,
home.
yeah.
Big
What's your
Taco Bell.
go-to meal there?
I've been doing whatever the box of the month is. They have four ingredients that they rearrange into some new
Yeah.
order. Like, I'll
It's
try
like
that.
everything from Taco Bell is 5 to 6 ingredients, and that's it. And good shit. Good shit.
But they
Put
put them
this
in a
back
different order
around.
each month.
I don't know about pet peeves. I'm addicted to video games. I mean, like, Balatro is my most recent one. I can't stop playing it. Blueprints is one. Um, as far as like tour addictions, I started buying these like Blue Diamond sea salt and vinegar almonds, and like, oh my god, they're so good. But like, they have a smell to it, and it really pissed off Nevin. So it's a pet peeve of his.
What about
They're
Bucky's?
so delicious, though. Oh yeah, I fucking hate Bucky's. It's a huge pet. It's not even a pet peeve. It's an actual just hatred. God, I hate that place.
So why?
I don't. I've had experiences where we've gone in there, too many people, and like they do that whole thing where they all chant and like sing and like it feels very culty, and I don't like the vibes. Sure, they got delicious Texas cheesesteak burritos and great bathrooms, but like terrible coffee, awful coffee, and like it just that beaver just pisses me off every time I see him in the distance. He just pisses me off. I don't know, like he sucks.
I gotta say, yeah,
That's funny.
my pet peeve is whenever the people like won't get out of the way when you really have to go to the bathroom. It's like it seems like when it's the worst. It's like when everybody, it's like they just gather and they just like stop in front of you. Everybody just stops in front of you.
That's funny.
But yeah, okay, addictions. What am I addicted to? What am I addicted?
Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
Garfield.
Pokemon Go. Actually, I always have
Pokemon Go.
my phone open on Pokemon Go. Hunting
Cool.
for shinies. Actually,
Nice.
And you're
You got a
addicted
bunch
for
of
going for
shinies or no?
Yeah.
I have so many shinies. It was crazy.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
what's
cool.
your pre now what's your pre-show ritual to get your voice and energy ready for the performance?
Ooh, I eat a lot of cheese and I scream. No, I'm kidding.
Throughout the day.
I drink a lot of water and then like I just stop talking for a while. That's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I started finally doing like stretches and like warm ups, like boring shit, but just try to do like breathing exercises and stretches.
Yeah, that's another
Cool.
thing. Yeah, the other day I almost broke my hip getting up off the floor. I didn't do anything. I was just sitting on the floor.
You know what's crazy is like I didn't do any of that before because like we just started like touring, and like man, I was so stupid. I would go into like the first show of a tour and like be beating the shit out of my drums like I normally do, but like I realized real quick like if you're on a long stretch of shows, you kind of got to use your energy much smarter. Like I mean, I still beat the shit out of my drums, but like I still hold back a little bit, especially toward the beginning of the show. But once I'm warmed up, can lean a little bit more into it. But like it really is about like before the show, do some stretches, and after the show, do some stretches because like you'll get fucked up real quick, leaning way too hard at the front end of the run.
Mm-hmm.
Should remember my stretches more, and I mostly only do if I see someone else doing them. And I'm like, oh yeah, and then I go do stretches.
Oh, I won't stretch in front of people. I hide my shame.
I mean, in joystick, it's like Mickey and I normally like do our stretches together. But
That's cute.
I don't know. And this one, not too much to build energy. I mean, sometimes if we're watching the band before us, if there is a band before us, we'll be sitting there like pogoing or something like that, like bouncing around.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hey,
lot
do
of
the
caffeine.
do the monkey with me. We do the monkey.
Yeah, me and
The
Jessica
monkey,
sit
yeah,
side stage
nice.
and we do the monkey.
Cool,
So
cool.
if the band before us plays music that's good to do the monkey too, that
If
really
you
helps
see
our
us
energy.
monkeying, you know you're good. All right.
Yeah, monkeying around. You know what
Gonna
I'm
be
saying?
a good time.
Nice.
That's actually a really stupid tidbit. I don't think we've ever told anybody, but when we're doing group vocals, we monkey.
Yeah,
Just
actually.
know anytime you hear a group vocal in the album, we're sitting there before our part comes doing the monkey. Like every time. It never fails.
I think we
Yeah.
did that for the world. Jessica, didn't you put it on a TikTok or something one time of us recording?
I did, and I think I overlaid it with Wheels on the Bus.
Hell yeah. Punk as fuck. Yeah,
It's
Yep.
funny.
when we're recording, we keep I mean, us three have been friends for half our lives, but we keep it very loose. So we're dancing around the whole time, like doing voices. Like Jessica's done like dolphin noises and Bart Simpson
Mhm.
voices in our music that are just layered back there.
God, one of my favorite pastimes is like misinterpreting lyrics. Cause like I've got, I don't know if it's just I'm stupid or I can't hear words right, but I always misinterpret Andy's lyrics. And man, he says some dumb shit, but not really. But it's man.
So, and for Flying Raccoon Suit Makes a Friend, like that old album when I still sang most of the songs, like I do not warm up, not professional. I would just lose my voice. And there was one show, my voice was already like pretty gone before we started it. And I was like, Curly, do you think like some of y'all can take vocals and stuff? And you're like, yeah, let me look at the lyrics. You looked at the lyrics to Screens or something. You're like, this is what you're saying? Jesus, it's been
Screens and
years.
Cocoon.
Oh, Cocoon?
That's where I thought it was going.
Yeah, I don't think we.
From inside my dad.
From inside my dad. Yeah, I, dude, like I'm telling you, dude, like, you can't say anything. You can't say anything. Just literally.
You
Oh,
can't
also,
say anything, dude.
if I mess up in the studio, like I said do something real pitchy or mess up a word, Curly will just grab that
Yeah,
phrase and like loop it at me and just like
yeah.
watch me for like I'm like, why are you torturing me like this?
Tortured. It's funny.
So
Yeah.
this next question goes out to Jessica. This is we want to find out a little bit about your Garfield fascination, and then you got something online.
Oh man, yes.
The way
Yeah.
that came into focus was brilliant.
That is my bedroom, and that is,
Explain this. It's just-
I think it's on. I think it's on Facebook.
that's just another Friday night.
You want to talk about crazy tour stories? That's one right there.
What?
Is that like a Garfield museum she had to stop at?
Oh man, I wish. Is that real?
I'm sure there is in one of these states.
Yeah.
So what,
We're gonna tour there.
so what is your fascination with Garfield?
Well, I mean, I've always loved Garfield as a kid. I remember my family used to be like, "Oh, you love that stupid little ass cat, huh?" talking about Garfield. I'm like, yeah, I do love that little stupid ass
That
cat.
happened too. Yeah.
What do you think about Heathcliff?
Heathcliff. He's fun. He's fun. He's not
Right.
as fun as Garfield. He's not as spicy, you know.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Were you there the first day when that movie came out? The new movie?
Oh no, I didn't get to see the movie.
I took my youngest son to go see it. It was pretty good. You know, people talk shit about Chris Pratt, but my guy's all right. He's all right. You know, he's got the stuff. His Garfield, not as good as his Mario, but you know what? He's out there trying his best, you know?
Yeah, who was the human? Who was John in that? Do you remember?
Nobody knows. There's no way to know, dude.
There's no way to know.
Nobody
Jason
knows. Now, the music video, The Swan, looks like it was lots of fun to shoot, especially the scenes where you smash glass and crash through the drywall. Can you tell us about filming those scenes and where were there any mishaps or funny moments on set? And whose house was it, anyways?
Oh, it was my mom and stepdad's old house that's behind their actual house, and
Oh,
yeah, we just it was hang and all that, and all my stuff was stored back there, like you know when I moved, and we decided to just destroy it because why not? I didn't need any of it, and I was holding on to it for no reason. So,
well, and a lot of it was water damage, right?
Yeah, a lot of it was water damage as well.
oh.
It was good. No.
Good. So the intro of the album, I wanted to be based off of a New Orleans like dirge, and a lot of those types of songs are called like something blues, like the name of a place. And Vidalia was a road near this spot where like
Yeah, it's where I learned how to drive.
so it tied into the music video, kind of.
Okay.
The video itself was kind of way more smooth than you would think because of everything that's going on. Like, I mean, it's all one take and it's also at like 1.5 speed, so that way it gives like the slow motion effect. And like really we knocked it out in like a few hours. It was kind of wild. And a lot of it was really just impromptu. It's not like we got to scout the location ahead of time and plan everything. Chris kind of took charge on like kind of choreographing and placing us, and it went really smooth. Like we did like a good handful of like passes of practice, and we only did actually like 2 actual runs. The one time that we made a mistake, we reset, and then the very next time we just went through. We knew the hard reset point of no return was in my buddy Ryan literally runs through drywall, because like we could only do that one time.
Yeah.
So like if we were to mess up before that point, we would have had to reset. So that's why we had the reset on that one. But like after that, the second take was it, and yeah, it was wild. Lot of dangerous things we were doing. Like looking back at it, I see like a crowbar almost hit my head at one point. That would have been fine. It just could have kept rolling.
Yeah,
But
there's
like,
like hammers and pieces of plywood like flying
Yeah.
up the back of my head.
like we weren't holding back. Like I threw that piano out of a fucking window and like shattered glass and all kinds of shit. It was awesome. I punched the shit out of that wall with my bare hands. I don't punch any walls
It
normally.
Yeah, right.
it had some technical difficulties too because we were trying to have a generator outside to power a speaker so we could blast the song at ourselves and hear that and mime along to it. And we couldn't get that to work. So we got another one, I think, from her mom and stepdad. We couldn't get that one to work. So we had to settle with Chris, the producer, holding a camera with one hand and then a phone with the other. And the phone was like kind of quietly playing the song.
Yeah.
Um,
wow.
Props to Jessica for like holding that all together, because I mean she's the main focal point, and again 1.5 speed, and you have to make sure all the lyrics are correct and stuff. I would have fucked that up all over the place.
You can see how like scared I looked the whole time. My face is still like stiff and awkward and scared because like there's stuff flying at my head. It was way faster than it looked
But
like it was.
You do a good job at keeping it up and emoting, like emotion wise with the songs and the lyrics. Like you fucking killed that shit. It was
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah, her emotes. Yeah.
it sounded like a Jeff Rosenstock song at that speed. It was just like
It was
lightning
stupid.
fast. Like we tried it 2 times speed, I think, and it was humanly impossible to mime along to. So we
Yeah.
settled for 1.5.
Dude, it was so funny because when we went back to just playing the song, I was playing it way too fucking fast. And like when I was trying to play it at tempo, I was like, this can't be right. But it really messed with my head on the actual tempo of the song.
Yeah. And I know Clay was bummed because on the first take, he smashed a guitar against the wall that like I guess exploded in a cool way, and that was the only
Yeah.
reset we had. So he
Yeah.
didn't get
Oh
to make that
wow.
in.
Cool. Now, also sticking on the video issue, Eat the World has a very visual, unique aesthetic. Can you talk about what inspired its creative direction, and was there a specific message or symbolism you hope to convey visually?
I mean the whole song is I mean it's anti like xenophobia, anti-racist and stuff. So like don't watch while it eats the world. Far too kind to these xenophobes, that sort of stuff. The look was so there's a guy named Jeff Van Gerwen, and this all ties back into the joystick kind of universe too, where Duck and Clay from Joystick make indie movies, and they actually just wrapped up this like indie horror movie called Amityville NATO that Jessica is in a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
I played the high merch girl.
and and it worked out. I don't know that he was available, and we had another idea for a music video. So this is a tangent, but Sunflower wasn't supposed to be the way it was. We were trying to do an homage to Sunday Morning by No Doubt. So we were trying to do a video where we recreate that. And for whatever reason, we could not find anyone in our circle of friends or on social media that had a garage.
Like nobody
Yeah.
owns garage,
Yeah.
but you know it's hard out there. So like,
Right. And
I
so
have a
part of
garage,
Sunday
but
Morning,
dickhead neighbors. So
exactly.
oh,
Oh,
Jessica,
Oh, hey,
oh no.
was it something we said?
Uh-oh. I wonder,
still salty about the garages.
Yeah, I guess.
it was on her phone. I wonder if her phone died.
Maybe.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. Do we keep going? What do we do?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay. But it was I mean, so that idea had fallen through, and they just happened to have this movie producer friend that would come over. And we have no money, no good locations and stuff. So we shot it in my living room where I'm actually doing this right now. So it was filmed like
Oh.
right here. Except for some of it in the kitchen where Curly's son actually is in the video too.
The
Oh,
alien
cool.
suit, yeah.
And
Man,
first,
he was miserable. It was so hot.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
it
did so
was.
many takes of like 10 people bouncing around in this tiny room. It was sweaty immediately.
Yeah, similar to the Swan Song one. It was just kind of knocked out after a little while. Like it went so much more smooth than it should have because like it was literally just thrown all together. Like we had like maybe a day's notice to come up with some ideas, like get an alien mask. Let's kind of use the xenophobic views to like kind of toy around with the idea of like we're cool with this like quote unquote alien. You know what I mean? Like just playing with stuff like that, but still having a good like fun time with it. And like we had like a whole like cake scene that was really hilariously dumb and like oh that was where David Buster's was as well.
Yeah,
I forgot
Curly
about that.
improvised the intro.
We're just like let's put like a J. Jonah Jameson styled like news anchor moment to introduce it of like crazy conspiracy, you know,
Oh.
kind of making fun of like stupid right wing bullshit.
Yeah,
But
he was supposed to
like
be like an Alex Jones type person. Like,
yeah, but
and there's lots
instead I
of
harped on about Pop Tarts or Hot Pockets, not Pop Tarts. Pop
we
Tarts will be for the next one.
we add a lot of little details and Easter eggs that we realize in hindsight, like no one can see because the cake, our trumpet player actually painstakingly made with like fondant to actually look like Earth. So a bunch of little like continents and stuff on it. And I think it says "Eat the World," but I don't know if you can see that.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
I gotta
and
look into it now. Oh, yeah.
right, and it's hard. I mean, always scheduling. So I mean, our alto sax player was there with his daughter that day, and you can tell there's some scenes he's not in because at a certain point he just had to leave, so he's not around for the cake scenes and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was the same. Like, that's why Alex ended up my son being in the alien. But then I had my youngest son, Ace, who has been like just on the couch watching this insanity go on and hanging out with Nevin's daughter. So it was a weird day of just like all right, families are here, y'all. Let's knock this shit out, and we got it done. And like
That's
we were
cool though.
talking, it's like the next video we cannot do at Andy's house. We can't do a third one there.
We shot so Driftwood has been at my house. Parts of Hive Mind, Toss and Turn is Curly's house. Eat the World is my house. You can tell we don't have a lot of resources.
Yeah.
Cap, I just had a hockey arena. That is like nuts.
Yeah. I mean, Sunflower is technically at all our houses, kind of a little bit.
Oh yeah, just at different houses.
Yeah, everybody's workplace and
yeah.
Now, I just want to make one last comment. I saw Andrew at Tridome Fest playing with joystick. How that happened and how was it?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it's such a small world. Now we're hanging. It's
yeah.
It was logistically difficult because I think there were two bands again that dropped off, and we were one of the replacement bands, but it didn't
Mhm.
work with all of our schedules. So Joker's Republic filled in on drums and guitar to make it happen, and then me, Duck, and Clay flew up there. But it was great. Like Duck was stoked to see Buck09 and like some of these older bands, like Planet Smashers and Buck09 said on stage they were surprised because they've been touring around 30 years and somehow have never shared a bill together.
Wow.
A lot of oh my God, the Fenzik was like the biggest surprise to me. Did you catch their set? I think it was Friday.
I missed it. I think the Fensick Friday. No, wait, Friday. I did
Yeah.
see the. Oh, then yeah, they're the first band, right?
They were one of the first like two or three, but they were like a
Yeah.
trad ska band with three vocalists and aux percussion, and it just so happened that like a trombone player I knew from touring in the UK is now their trombone player, and he's moving over here. But that was the surprise of the weekend for me. And yeah, Kill Lincoln's always amazing. Getting to hang out with them and Jay from the Best of the Worst again. It was great.
Yeah, I know Mark from that band.
Oh, really?
Because yeah, Mark was in Bigger Thomas before. And
That's
Mark
the-
flew out here and because him and Chuck came out, I think, together for that film that we're doing.
Yeah.
And so they're both in it too. So that's how I got to hang out with Mark.
When I found out they'd only been a band for 2 years, it blew my mind and also there aren't that many bands like that are really good and really hype and I don't know of that style before. I feel like, when Greg Lee passed and Hepcat, like they were the ones still keeping that fresh and
Mhm.
being insanely one of those bands that everybody can agree is good. Like no
Yeah.
matter if you're into ska or not.
Yep. Exactly. Now, what does the future hold for Flying Raccoon Suit? Any new material coming that you can speak of?
Curly?
How much do we want to say? I mean, we've already talked. We're in the studio now. I mean, fuck it. We hope, fingers crossed, maybe we'll release a song this year. Maybe.
Yeah. If you've listened this far, you get to hear that
Yeah.
our goal is to I mean, we're working on an album, and Curly and I have this discussion a lot because releasing music in modern day in 2025 is a puzzle. And like we see bands that just, they'll release singles to kind of stay fresh in people's minds or to feed, the algorithm and social media, have something pushing so you can get on a festival, but I feel like we're album people. Like
Yeah.
we like
I
full
mean,
albums.
I'm an album like snob. Like I hate skipping. I hate playlists. Like I like listening to albums front to back. Pet peeve right there. I can't stand. And most people are not like that. They love like a good playlist or like shuffling. I'm like, yeah, shit, I can't with it. It drives me crazy. And same thing with our stuff. Like I like having the whole picture because like I mean like singles are awesome. Like I don't get me wrong, I'll listen to people's singles and stuff, but like I'm always like, when's the album coming out? When is that? Because like I think it helps paint a bigger picture of like not necessarily like concept wise, but like this is the sound in different directions, interpretations. Like I like hearing different takes of where a band or an artist is at that moment. Like sometimes a single's not good enough for that, you know? I need at least a
Yeah.
good EP or a full length.
Right.
So our compromise is going to be like, yeah, we're going to do one song maybe while we work on the album instead of dropping a bunch of singles. And then by the time the album comes out, people are like, well, I've already heard most of this. So
Hmm.
the album release doesn't hit as hard.
Jessica did confirm her phone died, by the way.
Yeah.
It lasted a good couple hours. But tomorrow, last week we recorded some drums, and it was our first time, getting the wheels going after a couple of years. Tomorrow I'm showing up at Curly's house with my banjo and my glass slide and the kalimba and stuff, and we're going to record some tracks.
Cool.
Awesome.
I can't wait for the next album.
Yeah.
Me too.
Now, where can we find your music, both physical and digital?
So physical, it helps us a lot if you buy the vinyl or CD on Bad Time Records. And he doesn't, I don't think he likes doing CDs, but he did because we asked him to. So if you buy those, he'd probably like that.
You can rub it in his face.
Right. And
we're still out there, man.
Surprising amount of people ask for CDs live.
Yeah.
Oh, this relates to nothing, but when we were leaving Canada, like a bunch of people in a van, sometimes they like search you, they search the van. They opened the back of the van, they opened the first box they saw. They said, "Do people still buy cassettes?" And we said, "Not really." And they said, "All right." And then they just closed the van.
Fucking roasted us, dude.
They're like, "I don't care about the rest of this." Listen to us we're streaming on all the platforms. We're on Bandcamp if you prefer Bandcamp. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. We sell t-shirts and pins and patches and stuff through our own merch store if you want something besides the record.
Perfect.
And that stuff gives us gas money.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Now, is there any last words that you have for your fans and our viewers out there?
Yeah, fucking thank y'all, man. You've made us feel incredibly lucky these past few years in particular. It's kind of just wild to me that that I've always as a teenager wanting to be I want to be a rock star or whatever, it honestly makes me feel like we've kind of made it, and that can mean different things for everybody. We're not doing it full time or anything, but dude, there's people that are excited whenever we put out new music, and there's people that want to see us all around the world. That's fucking everything I've ever wanted as an artist. So genuinely thank you. It fucking means the world whenever I see repeated people at shows. I start to recognize people. I'm like, dude, what? Okay, sick. Awesome. And then same thing with the social media presence. As much as I fucking hate social media, it's awesome to just be on people's minds, and it means a lot.
Yeah, same. The fact that people we're making this art with our friends because we like doing that, and the fact that that means anything to anyone is incredible to me, and I never could have imagined that. So anybody that listens to us, we really appreciate that. I guess follow us on socials. We have some dates coming up later this year. We can't travel much, and I mean, even again, the fact that people care about the music we make in this band and we're all best friends, that gives us an excuse to hang out with each other a couple weeks a year. And as we get older and people have families and jobs and roots and stuff like that, it's cool to still have that outlet, and just hope it goes on forever. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh wait, Jessica.
Well, we want to sum this up. We really appreciate the time that you guys took to speak with us about you individually and your band, and we can't wait to see what great things you guys have coming. Thank you very much. Hold on real quick because we want to talk to you right after, all right?
Okay, and Jessica say that it was super fun, and thanks for having me say it just like that. All right.
That's how she said it.
Perfect. Thank you. Hold on, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Hello, Skankers. Jose here, aka Skanky Force. Would you like to win a free Ska Box? It's as easy as following Ska Box Rocks and Sniff Dog Records on Instagram and Facebook. And subscribe to Ska History Hour on YouTube and comment Ska Box Rocks in any video to enter. Good luck!